Happy manifesting Monday to you, or whatever day it is for you. So happy to be connecting with you and spending a little time together. I'm wearing my hat because it makes me happy. And I think it is important to follow our joy. Joseph Campbell says, follow your bliss. And our inner children, I think, have that access to what brings us joy. And for me, my hats definitely bring me joy. So today I want to talk to you about making choices. And it can be challenging, right? Yogi Berra says, when you get to a fork in the road, take it. But how do we know which way to go? I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of times in my life, I've made decisions and gone a direction in retrospect that was a quote unquote mistake. And then I think about why I made the decision I made, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. I used to do this thing where I do T-charts, reasons to do something or reasons not to do something, pros and cons. And I think that's a responsible thing to do. I've done it where it's just been a knee-jerk response. It's like, oh, it seems like a good idea. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to say yes. I've been told by some teachers, when an opportunity presents, you always say yes. That got me in a lot of trouble. And even the T-charts, the pros and cons, hasn't been incredibly effective. So years ago, I was told maybe to listen to the deeper part of myself. I wasn't sure what that meant, but I'm tuning into what that means. I'm tapping into what that means, and I want to talk to you about it. I really believe that our bodies are tuning forks for our souls. Hi, Kathy Clevenger. How are you? I love you, honey. So our bodies have within them innate wisdom. But so often we're not really taking that time to tune in, to tap in, and to listen. So years ago, hi, Penny, how are you? I'm honored you're here with me for a little bit. So again, I've made a lot of decisions that weren't good decisions, and I decided I needed to go deeper. I don't want to just rely on my mind, or it seems like a good idea, because that wasn't working well for me. So I was told, tune into my body. And all that means really is, before making a decision, I just take a breath, I get into my body, and I ask it its opinion. So disease, dis-ease, unease, if we do things that are against our innate wisdom, our bodies are going to tell us. We're going to suffer. We're going to have some challenges with our health, or possibly accidents. So before I make a decision, say I'm offered an opportunity to do a class or a course, or take on a client, this can look a lot of different ways. I'm sure you've made some decisions in your life. Just say, you know what? Thank you for asking. I'm going to sit with that, and I'm going to get back in touch with you. And then you just take that time to really settle into your body, relax into your body, and consider this opportunity. And does it feel expansive or contracting? Does it feel like the direction of love or the direction of fear? Does it feel like you want to take a deep breath and you're a little shaky, or do you feel like you have a pit in your stomach and you feel a little sick? So the first time I really did this in a conscious way, it's kind of funny. It was I was asked to do a trade show in Las Vegas. And at the time I lived in Los Angeles, and it was for not my day rate. It was about a third of my day rate. And it was a big commitment. It was a 5-day convention. I was going to be working from 8 until 5. It was a big commitment for not that much money. And I said to my agent, I need to really sit with this and think about this. And she said, well, Tammy, you could meet your husband. You need to do this. She was trying to twist my arm. And in the past, I would have done it without even checking in or taking care of myself. So I said, I hear that. I appreciate that, but I'm going to take some time. And this really comes back to honoring ourselves, respecting ourselves, loving ourselves. So just taking that moment, that breath, before we just automatically say yes or no to something. You know what? I need to sit with this. And that's what I did. I pulled my energy back, I hung up the phone, and I sat with it. And I thought, what honors me here? And I checked in with my body as I thought about doing this trade show, these many, many hours for not that much money. And I was actually surprised. I took a breath, and I was very comfortable inside of myself. I checked in. I didn't feel the pit in my stomach. I didn't feel the tension in my back. It felt like I just took a breath. It was comfortable. It felt like a self-honoring choice. There were other things I could do in Vegas, and there was another opportunity after this trade show that I could take advantage of. So there would be, some reasons to do this. Again, this wasn't an intellectual decision. It was more of a physiological decision and emotional decision, and I would even say spiritual decision. So it felt like there were green lights as I checked in deeper inside of myself. And so I went and did the trade show. And in fact, this is where I met my husband. But it wasn't like I went and choked it down and was resentful. I really checked in. It was a self-honoring choice. So the energy behind making this choice was one of peace and love, not resistance and fear or resentment. And it ended up working out pretty well. So it's something I've done pretty consistently ever since. I check in with myself. And thank you, Penny. You're such a great storyteller. So that's quite the compliment. So to just take that time and really check in with your body when you're being given an opportunity or you're having to make a choice or make a decision. Is this something that honors me? Does this feel like self-respect? Where do I feel it in my body as I consider this opportunity? Another short story, and I've talked about this before. If you've hung out with me before, you may have heard it. About 10 years ago, I was approached about doing a radio show on Empower Radio. The president of Empower had done an interview with me. He thought that I was a great speaker, interviewee, and he said, I'd like to give you the opportunity to do your own show. My knee-jerk response was no, because just him asking that, I started to shake. It didn't feel good. I was freaking out. So I said, well, you know what? Let me just sit with it and get back to you. And so that's what I did. I meditated and I thought about doing this radio show, interviewing people and having conscious conversations, which actually is one of my very favorite things to do in the whole world. But I did feel some anxiety in my physiology. My body I was like shaking. And this is another process that you can do. You can get in touch with that energy you're feeling. Where in your body? Where are you holding it? What is the color? What is the shape? What is the texture? And then have a conversation with it. So the energy I felt was this like jittery, shaky. It was like kind of a quick heartbeat. And maybe the color was like green and orange. It was kind of weird colors, right? Not my favorite colors. But I checked in with it and I asked it what the information was. And it said, I'm scared. And I said, okay, scared of what? Of being heard, of being seen. Which was interesting because it was also what I wanted, to be seen and to be heard and to be helpful and to be of service. It was all the things that I thought that I wanted. And then I was getting them and I was freaking out. And I think Marianne Williamson talks about that. You ask for it and then it shows up and you say, I'm not ready. That was what was going on with me. So I really had to be discerning about this energy, discerning about why I was saying no, discerning about the fear. And I think this is so vital to really check in. Why is this a no? It was initially a no for me, and my physiology was a little bit rattled by it. But it was because I was being asked to expand. And I don't think we can live up to our potential unless we have courage and the willingness to step out of our comfort zone and expand. So my initial no was because I had fear about expanding, stepping up, stepping out, and expanding. So once I realized that, I really had to consider what my intentions were. And that was, again, to be of service, to be a spokesperson for God. That's what I feel my purpose is, my job title, my career, if you will. And so I realized that it was a no disguised, a yes is disguised as a no because of the fear. But as I worked through the fear, as I unraveled the fear and went deeper, it was actually yes. So to really spend time checking in with your body and having the conversation, the dialogue, tapping into the deeper wisdom. And if it's initially a no, go deeper. Is it really a no? Is it just not a fit? Or is it a no because you're being asked to step up your game? So I use this process a lot, and it's extremely helpful in every arena, whether it is, again, about, do I want to take on another client? I'm pretty busy, I'm pretty prosperous, I'm pretty happy. Do I want to spread myself any thinner? And if it's somebody I really believe that is serious and responsible and willing to do the work that it takes to do the soul level work? Sometimes the answer is yes. And there are times when the answer is no. Like, this person really isn't a fit for me energetically. And that doesn't mean I'm better or they're better or I'm worse or they're worse. It just means it's not a vibrational fit. Everything's allowed, but we get to choose who we play with and who we hang out with. And for me, it needs to be a resounding yes. Because the most important thing we have is our life force. The most important thing we have in physical world reality, the most important commodity we have is our time, our energy, our life force. So it's vital for me to make sure it's a real fit. Where I've gotten in trouble, and I bet this is true for you too, is when you've said yes when it should have been a no. So taking that time to really check in to your physiology, to your wisdom, to your energy, and listen. And then have that conversation if you need to unravel and go deeper beneath any kind of fear or trepidation. Is it just not a fit? Or is it you're being asked to expand? Be discerning with that is so important. Yes, it's just not a fit. That doesn't make you good, bad, right, wrong. It's just not a fit. And often people would say, well, why don't you want to do this thing that they're trying to twist my arm about? And I would come up with a list of excuses. Well, I'm busy, or I have another obligation. But the truest truth and the best reason for saying no to anything is, I just checked in with myself and it's not a fit. Just doesn't resonate. How do you argue with that, right? And the more I've learned that it's okay to say that, the better my life works. And that's why I do this, the Facebook Live. This is why I do the radio show. This is why I write the books. Is because I'm finally figuring out how to navigate this reality with a lot more grace and ease and joy. And it wasn't always this way. I suffered and struggled a lot. But then I thought, if I can figure out how to do this, maybe I can share what I've learned that helps me, and maybe it can help others. Just again, to be the living example of the principles that work. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I have a wonderful life, prosperous, joyful, filled with love and good friends. And I think all of us can have this. And I want this for you. Again, heaven on earth. I think it's available to all of us, but there's certain rules of the game here on planet Earth, and pretty consistent rules across the board for all of us, even though we all have very individualized contracts and curriculum. It's also, there are just certain rules that are consistent, like gravity works pretty consistently on planet Earth. Love is a really beautiful, beautiful tool, but doing spiritual bypasses sometimes it doesn't support us. We need to process issues of fear, unworthiness, or, it's the journey of the hero. And we all kind of have stumbling blocks. None of us are unique in this way, that we are the only ones that struggle and suffer. That was another thing that really helped me as well. As much as I've hurt in my life and as much pain as I've experienced, as I look around, I know every single person on this planet has experienced pain. We're all part of this human family. And I think often when someone believes that their pain is somehow different or special or unique, that's definitely an ego-based concept, and it's not actually a really attractive one. As I've realized, my pain isn't unique, it isn't special, and it hurts to hurt. And as I've learned to authentically have compassion for myself, not pity, big difference, I've started to be able to have authentic compassion for every other human being that I meet, because this is not an easy place to be. We deserve our own respect and compassion for saying yes to the human experience. And again, to really take care of ourselves, to respect ourselves and have compassion for ourselves, to take that time to check in and say, what really honors me here? What would self-love or self-respect look like? Or what would self-love or self-respect do right now? And if you don't know, again, the body will inform you. If we take that time to just check in and listen, pay attention, so taking the fork in the road is great. I recommend that too. Yogi Berra was right. If you come to the fork in the road, take it. But before you go left or right, step back, settle your awareness. I think of it as settling my awareness into my heart. And I ask my body, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? And then I consider the opportunity going left or right. Does it feel expansive? Does it feel contracting? and what is the information if it's contracting. If it's just a simple, no, it's not a fit, maybe that's the end of it. But again, if there's fear, because it's like, I'm afraid I'm not worthy, I'm afraid that I don't deserve this, maybe keep having that conversation. And then I also like to bring in that conversation with that something greater, because I do believe our Creator is a very loving energy and wants us to be prosperous, wants us to live a life of great love, not from just our own understanding, but in partnership and co-creation. So I feel like that's what I'm doing, and I hope that's what you're doing as well, because you are an incredibly unique, wonderful, beautiful, exquisite, talented, glorious aspect of the Creator. The more you know that, the more you believe that, the better your life will work. So, Kathy, what are you saying to me? Oh, you're so sweet. Have I? I've helped you? That's my intention. You know, it's sort of like I have this big, beautiful yacht, and I invited some friends over at one point, and it got back to me that one of the girls thought I was trying to show off. And that broke my heart, because really my intention was to have fun, to create and to play together, because it's not that much fun just to be on my yacht alone. It's fun to have friends. It's fun to come together for the sake of joy and celebration and lifting each other up, being lifted up and lifting each other up. It's not a competition. It's about joy and celebration. And so I hope you feel that and sense that. I hope that you are celebrating your human experience. And if there's anything I can do to support you and just loving yourself more and going higher and enjoying the reality that is life on planet Earth, that is my, again, purpose, pleasure, and honor and intention. And last week I think I mentioned to you, I don't know if you were here or not, but I created an intention and taking inventory worksheet. And I've actually had, gosh, maybe 30, 40 people ask for it. And I'm getting some really great feedback from people that are doing this exercise. So if you want it, it's 10 questions about taking inventory about the last chapter of your life and setting your intentions for the next chapter of your life. And sometimes we really need to kind of go within, take responsibility for our thoughts, our beliefs, our reality, and then course correct if we need to, refine what it is that we want next. I sort of say, like, life is like going to a buffet. You get to taste something. If you don't like it, you can go back and try something else. You can refine it. Don't beat yourself up. It's not a mistake. It's a learning experience. Also, I kind of think of it as shopping. Something might look good hanging on the hanger, but you bring it into the dressing room and try it on. Sometimes it's like, oh, that was a bad idea. Don't beat yourself up about it. You just go find something else to put on. And sometimes you find these things that fit like a glove, and that's joy. So I hope you're finding things that, yeah, I love that about you, Penny. I invited Penny to my yacht, and she goes, oh, thank God, I wanted a yacht, but this way I don't have to pay for it. I can just enjoy yours. Thanks, Penny. We're trying to sell it now if you want to buy it. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, but we've had it for, gosh, I don't know, 12 years. It's time to let that go and move on to our next adventure. So I hope you are enjoying your adventure, your human experience. And again, if you want my inventory and intention worksheet and guided meditation around clearing your plate and getting more aligned with your soul self, your higher self, and with love, my joy is to share this with you. So just let me know. You can private message me or email me at tammybphd@gmail.com, and I'll get that right over to you. And if you do it, I'd love to hear from you. I want to know if this supports you and how it supports you, and maybe you've got some constructive criticism for me. How could this be better? I really want to know. So I hope you know you're in my heart, my prayers on a daily basis. I am so grateful for your presence in my life and for just being on this path and journey. And I hope you're having a lot of fun. I hope you're living a lot of heaven on earth days, as I am. And let's just keep going higher. You are exquisite, and I am so blessed for your presence in my life. So take very good, gentle care of yourself. Check in frequently and ask yourself the question, how does this make me feel? Or what would self-love do? Or what honors me now? Really important questions and things to consider. And again, the more I do it, the better my life works. Simple, accessible tool that all of us are capable of. And again, I think it makes that space for that something greater to partner with us on our lives. And everything we want, I believe, comes from that. There's a consciousness that is far superior to our own minds. And I think as we open ourselves to that relationship, our lives simply work better and with a lot more grace, ease, and joy. And so I'm living a life of joy, and I hope you are as well. And if I can support you again, please be in touch. And you're my heart and prayers. God bless you. Take good, gentle care of yourself. Onward and upward. Bye for now.